Mhm.
So I heard it's supposed to be real hot there or something?
It is, yeah. It's like 98 today, I think. It's
Yeah.
been really hot.
Yeah.
I bought two little fans from Amazon, so the AC is running, but the two little fans are like blowing everything around, so it's cooler. And keep the shades closed, so I'm like a hermit in a cave,
Yeah. Yeah.
because otherwise the sun just will come crashing in my living room window, and
Yeah.
it's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
But we're in August, and Maryland is very terrible for August and
Yeah.
stickiness and humidity and just nasty.
Yeah.
Did get one question from, just see it again. I bookmarked it. It
Oh,
says, just one practical question, how to live this day by day, even though I know that this is a contradictory question. And yeah, because once you know yourself in a real sense, you're formless. You're no longer taking the touch of a body progressing through some kind of space and time. It's literally scenes that are appearing and disappearing before you. Do what is needed in the moment, leave it, and move on to the next scene, which is just appearing. There's no sense of time because there's not an object in time that creates. You're not creating this kind of timeline of I'm living or this is my life or I'm doing these things because you're not. The meditation is no longer connected to thoughts of I'm a body in a world. What do I need to do? What happens to me? What is this? What is that? These are objects. Trying to relate to the objective world, you're no longer doing this. You know yourself in a real sense. So it is literally just scenes appearing and disappearing. Take care of the object, whatever is happening in the moment, leave it, and a new scene appears. So as far as living the reality, you're just, there's no living anymore.
mm,
Only looking back over your shoulder can you say living, like, oh, I had a good day today, or oh, I didn't have such a great day today. But in the moment, it's just scenes appearing and disappearing, scenes appear. And that's how the reality actually is. Scenes appear and disappear. It's us attaching thought flow of John's day. What did people around John say? What is this? What is that? But if you don't have a body as Maharaj would say, a local identification, you're not going to have this kind of anchor. You're formless. Body's available, but you're not tight in it. You're not wearing a winter coat in the summertime. Clothes are very loose, and you're not paying attention to the clothes. That's that. I mean, living the reality is just plain. And if for some reason you do take the body touch, we have mantra. If you've already noticed the sense of presence, you already know the sense of existence, I am, then you can easily bring your attention to this sense of presence, which then, of course, brings the attention back to who has this attention on the sense of presence that you are. Presence is more subtle. Body came along with the world. Presence projected. Dream world was created. You said, oh, I'm this. Objects appear. Same as we talked about space last week or last time we were here. Actually, it's been a month. See, once again, scenes appear and disappear. So,
I have a question.
Sure.
Cool. Um, so I recently had, like I've been reading, and I took Nam in 2023, and been doing the japa, uh, but I had for some reason, like, I know all this stuff already from reading, right, and thinking about it. It's very obvious that this is like the gunas at play, like Maharaj would say, right? And so there's not really anyone doing anything, right? Because the mind is just something that is fictitious anyway. It's a false self. It's not even real, so it can't ever be real, right? Um, but I was thinking, I was like, you know, I don't know why, but I feel like it's it. I realize that like devotion is not just singing the bhajans, but saying the mantra, you know, and like is like how long does it take, or how long how long did it take for you to get to where like you don't have mental formations, or if you still do, are they lessened to a degree? I mean, because it's Niskada would always say, well, if the mind's doing something, just let it do it. Like just ignore it, right? It's not you anyway. And so I try to take that stance, but you know, it at some point, I mean, the mind should just go quiet, right? And you only need it in the moment whenever it's necessary. So, I mean, I'm guessing it takes years of doing that because, um,
Not a single moment. I mean, thoughts flowing. If you're not paying attention to thoughts flowing, is as if they're not there. And eventually, by not paying attention, they're not there. And we talked about there's no hook to hang a hat, so the hat just falls. Thoughts flow, and if you're not paying attention to them because you're not identified with the body in a world, and yet, as you mentioned, I can sit here and say, oh, I need to do XYZ and I need to put it on my calendar. Okay, that's fine. I didn't have to take any identification for that. It's just an action, spontaneous in the moment. And as far as the very day that Maharaj gave the mantra, and I was continuous, I sat, like everybody was sitting in the hall for actual meditation, sitting, meditating. And then I continued with the mantra as I walked back to my room. And that's when I wound up walking all around India and getting my beard shaved and my head, the hair cut off very short, and all this. And it was spontaneous. You just get carried away with the mantra. The mantra will erase the thoughts slowly, silently, and permanently because there will be no place for them to hang your hat. There will be no more hook. The hook will be off the wall. You go to hang the hat, boom, it just falls. You're not paying attention to the thought stream because you're not a you as a specific, this is John's thought. Thought then is understood that if I'm not the body, thoughts don't occur in this that I call head. Thoughts are this waking world that we're seeing. That's thought.
yeah, I often find like when I'm saying mantra that like I'm like it's not so much that like how do I put it? Like if people are having a conversation and I say the mantra to myself, I'm not interested in the conversation. I don't care about it, and it's not like some. I just feel fine. I don't feel like I need to like interject anything because there's nothing going on, and I don't know if that's normal or what, but
Yeah. You practicing I don't exist. It's very simple. You're in a room full of people and you can, quote, practice I don't exist by not taking the touch of what's going on. And yet, if somebody came to you and said, hey, Matthew, I need you for XYZ, you would immediately respond. But you understand that all of this is occurring within yourself. All these so-called bodies, including the body that you used to believe yourself to be, is within your own self. And you can see quite easily how everything's moving around without your needing to do anything. without you needing to put your 2 cents in or to do anything. And yet, if somebody says, hey, Matthew, what'd you think of the football game last night or whatever, if you watched it, you can certainly carry on the conversation. No problem. If you didn't, you say, oh, I didn't see it. And then there's no mentation of, oh, I wonder what I'm supposed to say or anything. There's nothing like this. There's no self-consciousness because there's no self to be conscious of.
Also, I don't know if this is just a concept, but I was thinking, and I guess I was thinking, right? But it was like, I kind of had some insight where it was like, you know, you can think all you want about like all this stuff, but like the guru comes from outside of that and like, you know, reaches out to you. And it's like, you know, I guess if that's the inner guru manifesting like Maharaj would say, um, you know, we're definitely blessed. Because, you know, I feel like you could hit your head against a wall your whole life, and if you just don't get the guru's blessing, then I mean, you're kind of, you know.
Well, but remember, there's no inner guru, no outer guru, because there's no body. And Maharaj says all the time, put your hand on your head and bless yourself. The guru that you believe going to see Sri Ramakant Maharaj, that Sri Ramakant Maharaj is not the guru of the body. That's your inner master, so to speak, manifested in the physical world, as we say. Due to the fact that I believe I'm a body, I see a body as a guru and I bow to that guru's feet. But in reality, if I know I'm not a body, I know the guru is not a body. The guru absolutely knows the guru is not a body. So it's the selfless self using 2 body forms to worship the selfless self formlessly.
Is it safe to say that the guru or the inner self is just doing all the work and we're just watching? Because that's kind of what it seems like.
Well, you are that.
Yeah, yeah. It's just weird because it's like, you know, you talked about like being on the motorcycle on the back and saying the mantra and everything worked out, you know. And it's like I notice if I say Nam, you know, and I'm repeating it, like everything's fine. Like it's not like, you know, I don't want to say it's like magic or anything, but it's just that it's like it's all going however it should, and it's like I don't. It's going to take me a while to get used to you know with you know newfound devotion again, but um, you know stabilizing in that. But I'm hopeful that it's just you know it just becomes a natural habit to just say Nam, you know, all the time and just let it just watch the movie and not even be concerned about it because there's so many things you think, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and I need to do this, I need to do that, and there's like basic needs you have to take care of, but a lot of stuff just never happens. Whatever you think is going to happen, good or
Correct.
bad, and it's like if your inner teacher, if Brahman is moving all things anyway, then there's nothing to do but watch it, like because you're not the body anyway. So I don't. I'm hoping that's not a concept, but that's just kind of how I feel at this point. And
Yeah, you're just 2 eyes floating through space, basically. Again, body's available. You use it, do your job, do your duties, take care of your responsibilities, but without taking any kind of ownership of any consequence. Like you say, oh, if I perform this action, I should get this result. No, it's just formlessly, okay, in the moment, and here it is, spontaneous in the moment. Everything is pick up the drink and put it down. Pick up, drink, put it down. Yes, tomorrow you won't know at what time you picked up the drink and put it down. It's just a series of activities without any kind of I'm doing it.
it's weird because it's like those mental formations. It feels like you know, like it's like Nishikada would say, what was it the false is was never real, and the real was
Correct.
never born. And so it's like, you know, you don't remember your birth, right? So you were unborn, but also to the false self that like you have all these mental formations trying to like come up, bubbling up from the water and stuff. It's like it never goes anywhere anyway. And so it's like it can't ever be real in any sense because it's just not, it's not, it's like you're observing something that's broken, like a machine that's making a noise because it needs grease, you know? But it's like, you're not that. You're not, it's just so weird to like, it's just so
Same
weird.
as dream. In the dream, it's the same way. You're laying down, sleeping body-wise. Consciousness creates a dream world. You're an object within the dream world. You can swim, you can run, you can talk. There's people around, you can have conversation. Sometimes you can dream like many months that you were there, and you wake up, it was all false. And it's just because that's you. That you are is the projection. You just constantly creating. That's just your nature, if you want to say it that way. The consciousness, boom. And when there's a knowledge of existence within the consciousness, whether it be waking or dream, because they're both the same, an object is identified with, a world is appearing, actions are being performed. When you wake up, you know it's not true. When you know yourself in a real sense, none of this so-called waking is true. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, I was thinking for a long time I had to have samadhi to see all this, and it's like just saying Nam and just waiting patiently. It's like I don't know, it's weird.
Well, and again, Nam will put you in that quote samadhi state, nirvikalpa samadhi, where you're not focused on your body and you're not in a world anymore. That's where that scenes are just appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. But there's no you, there's no body pressure to say, I'm here. There's no local identification. If that's why when Ramana Maharshi left the body and they were talking, he said, well, where will I go?
Yeah.
Like, where will you go? When the body falls, where will you go? There's nowhere for you to go because you weren't ever confined to this limited body form. This local identification was false. You understand this through mantra. Thoughts slow down. You're no longer paying attention to thoughts that were keeping you compressed in a body form. Oh, so that I am that. And that's it. The same as when you wake from a dream and you say, oh, I could not have been doing any of those things. You wake from a nightmare and you're a little bit sweaty and you're like, oh my God, that was terrible. But it's not true. Or you dream that you were fired and you wake up and in the dream, you were like trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You wake up. Oh, it was a dream. I saw my job. Everything's fine. It's the same. You know yourself in a real sense, no matter what these little seeming things are that are seemingly happening, as long as you don't make mountains out of illusory problems. If you take the touch of an illusory problem, it will become quite real. Why? Because spirit takes the touch immediately, the same as in a dream. You're in the dream, you take the touch, I'm a body in a world having this experience. If you take the touch in the waking world, you will believe I'm a body in a world having this experience. If you know yourself in a real sense, it's just scenes appearing and disappearing, scenes appearing and disappearing. Here we are again. We do the Tuesday talk. We turn it off, do what needs to be done to put it on the web, watch TV. Next thing, here we are again. Like there's no, it's just scenes appearing and disappearing. And yet, like I can say, this Saturday, I'm going to go see a movie with my son. The ticket that I bought is for 1 o'clock. But there doesn't have to be a me to do that. It's a simple click, click, boom, I buy it. Once Saturday comes, I'm not thinking from now until Saturday what the movie's going to be like or anything like this, obsessing about the movie. It's just, okay, now Saturday is coming. I wake up, I get in the car and I drive up and I see him and we go to the movies. There's no you. And that answers that lady's question. This is how you live the reality. There's just scenes appearing and disappearing. Whenever you start to take the touch, whether it be because as you get closer and closer to your selfless self, and Maharaj has said this, and I've experienced this, you will begin to kind of, there will be pressure. I heard one Russian devotee say it beautifully. It's like a cork when you shake it and it's getting pressure, 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 and it wants to pop. Maharaj talks about the tenants leaving the buildings and they abuse you on the way out. Same thing. It's like as you get closer and closer to your selfless self, you will create in your experience a reason to remain with your selfless self rather than take the touch. The food poisoning in India, the cab driving late at night in the rain, many, many instances of you don't take the touch. You go with master and reality rather than illusion and mind. If you do start to take the touch, mantra. Mantra will very quickly put you back into that, oh, I'm more like the space or sky than I am this body form. But quite frankly, after you've known yourself, like after you have transferred any identification that was left of the body onto this sense of presence, it unlocks the key of I am the knower of the sense of presence. Presence is so subtle, and yet it's known. Okay, whether presence is or is not, I am. So therefore, I'm no longer worried about body, mind, ego, intellect, world, nothing, because I'm prior to being this. I know myself in a real sense. Now you don't get lost. You don't need to just drop into mantra because mantra was a tool at one time, which can now be discarded. But mantra allows you to erase the illusory layers slowly, silently, and permanently. The fire burning bright, that just die, that subtle sense of presence. The moment this is known, I've heard about this so many times from Master. Now I understand I'll transfer the identity of anything I have left onto the sense of presence. Now presence is going to work. Presence is driving. Presence is in line at the grocery store, not the body. Somebody says, oh, you look terrible. Like Nisargadatta Maharaj talked about, who are you speaking about? I'm not this body. So when you've transferred your any identification left to this subtle sense of presence, this just die, I'm more like the sense of presence, space or sky, than I am this body. Then if a thought comes, what if the body dies? Well, I'm more like this sense of presence, and this body is within that sense of presence, so it wouldn't matter to me at all. Okay, now let's say the sense of existence, the sense of presence, is no more. Well, that also doesn't matter anymore because the knower of the sense of presence was there prior to knowing the sense of presence or the sense I exist or the just I. Therefore, whether presence is or is not, I am. Whether the sense I exist is or is not, I am. Nothing can remove this I am because that I am. That's why Maharaj says, where all experience ends, there you are.
Thank you, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
So at that point,
And
where you're transferring experience to a sense of presence, then you can't really call that taking the touch anymore.
well, again, presence becomes an object in your awareness. When you have meditated with mantra, that's why Maharaj always says meditation is so important. If you're reading books and doing all these things and listening to all this kind of stuff, meditation, remain with your selfless self. Just see what's there. Just die, just die. This subtle, subtle sense of presence. I'm more like this sense of presence than I am this body.
So so it sort of everything gets transferred. It's not like something you do, it gets transferred over to the sense of presence, I suppose.
Well, again, don't get hung up in words. It's when I say like at first, most individuals identified with the body. Then you say, okay, I read about spiritual knowledge. I understand that there's Brahman, Atman, Paramatman. There's a master. Eventually, through devotion to whatever higher power you're believing in, it leads to a master, or it leads to more. The desire to know will lead to knowledge. So now you have mantra. Okay, you're supposed to remain with mantra. Mantra, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm in traffic, mantra at work, mantra, here I am, here I am. Eventually, slowly, silently, permanently, thoughts are removed. Fire. Maharaj used that example of fire. Fire, presence. We call presence the just die, just die. Nisargadatta Maharaj called it the I am, the sense of existence. I exist. I am. You know you are. How do you know you are? There's this subtle, subtle sense of presence. Now, as soon as this is felt, oh, what's this? Remaining more with the sense of presence throughout the day now. Now you're stuck in traffic. What do? Sort of dive into this sense of presence. You can just sort of feel this. Oh, just die, just die. Everything's okay. Subtle sense of presence. This transference of identification, I was identified with body. Now I understand there's this presence. At first, maybe I identify, as I did, the sense of presence with God. Oh, this is God. This is the God of the preachers. When people pray, this is God. That's a step. But now I understand that presence is. So I start to identify, oh, I'm more like this subtle sense of presence. And this was when Maharaj said, you are not body, you were not body, you're not going to remain the body. Well, if I'm not the body, and yet I can sense this sense of presence, then I must be presence, not body. I leave the body behind, so to speak. I'm no longer dragging it along. I'm more like the sense of presence. I feel lighter. It's going to feel like you're expanding because you're no longer constricting yourself with thoughts and ideas and beliefs that I am a body. So it'll feel like an expansion. As your presence, you'll understand, as we spoke about, you're in a room speaking with all these different people, but you understand that all the people, all this entirety is within your own presence, including the body that you used to believe yourself to be, who's having this conversation with these so-called people. Subtly, there is an understanding. That's what we call the black hole, so to speak, because there's no concept of I am presence there. There is no concept because presence is now an object in your awareness. Whether presence is or is not, I am. This sense of existence has appeared to that you are. And when the sense of existence is no more, you are. Now we come to the state, no knowledge is knowledge.
Mhm.
There's no longer knowledge of existence, and that's the true knowledge. That's how Maharaj talks about knock, knock on the door. Who's there? Nobody's there. But somebody had to be there to say, nobody's there. You had to be for the sense of being to appear, for the sense of existence to appear, not in this body form. The knower of the sense of presence is there whether presence is known or not known. And once presence is known, that's just like in a dream. You lay down sleeping, sense of existence appears, boom, dream world is spontaneously created. That's you doing it. Who else is there? It's you. Boom. Whole dream world populating with people. You're speaking in your dream. You're eating in your dream. You're talking in your dream. Your dream may seem like many months of time. And when you wake up, you know it's not true. When you know yourself in a real sense, when you, quote, wake up, the waking consciousness is not true. It's another dream. And how is this dream? I am somebody else is the key to that dream. If you're nobody, then you're everybody. And this is Maharaj talks about the something came out of nothing and goes back to nothing. The something for a time appeared just like the dream, but it was nothing. The waking state appeared just like a dream, but it was nothing. It was an appearance in the nothing. No thing, nothing, nothing to be known, because you are all of it. In order to have the sense of duality, you have to know your own existence. I exist, therefore, there's an I that exists, and you separate. Duality, boom, immediately, I'm a body in a world. You reverse, 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 roll up the world, which the body kind of was there to make this world appear. Without body, you can't see a world, so roll back that. Now you're at the sense of existence, where there's no body because it's just the sense of existence. Roll that back, and there's the knower. That you are.
And that's all that's
And before,
left.
yes, where all experience ends, there you are. Before this cuts off, we'll go back to our every 2 weeks because it's now going into September. So September 1st, we'll meet again. And then we'll do every 2 weeks. Because this is a transition year where I work, I'll be very, very busy. So I'll let you know, there may be times in November where we can't do this, but we're going back to regular every 2 weeks starting September 1st.
Okay.
And that's for everybody, the people that listen on YouTube, the people who are here. So just to let everybody know.
So when it's like the knower that is all that's left is the knower, does it feel like dissolution, like the world has dissolved? Would you say or is that just
You're still seeing,
yeah.
but you're not identifying as like something. I mean, I watch TV. I love TV. I spend a lot of time in front of the TV watching all sorts of shows, and I can be fully involved in them. And when I turn them off, it's finished. Or I've gotten to the point where you're watching a show. Oh, it's time for me to go to bed so I can wake up tomorrow. I turn it off in the middle of the show. There's no like, oh my God, what am I missing? This is the world. It's a show.
Sometimes I feel like I'm somewhat expanded or whatever. And
Yeah.
And it feels sort of, I mean, as a description, I could say it feels like the world is dissolving too. But that's still just it's a description. But
Just don't get hung up on, because this happened in the ashram. I spoke about after doing mantra and everything, I was doing bhajans. and I felt like my body had like disappeared and the whole ashram was inside of me. And it was a very strange feeling, like, but don't get hung up, because even Maharaj said, okay, good experience, but keep with your selfless self. Don't be like, wow, that was amazing. I want to try that again. Let me go back tomorrow during bhajan and see if I can expand so that the ashram is within me again and I'm not here. No, just
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Remain with your selfless self. Be normal, be simple, be humble, be always with you.
You know, like in the past, I talked about this before. I had a powerful. It was sort of like a Kundalini experience, and then it never happened again. But as time goes on, it seems like some of that is coming back that I experienced then, like parts of it are, but still, it's not anything that to worth. You can't like keep it there, you know.
Yeah, don't hold on to experience. Don't try to chase experience. If experience is there, very nice. But remember, there's no experience, no experiencer. At the end of all experience, you are formlessly without form. Good experience, bad experience just appears on your spontaneous presence and can easily be discarded.
So, like, if you're humble, it comes automatically, then you could say,
Well, you
you know,
don't want to take the spiritual ego. No. Like even Maharaj says, sometimes you may be doing things and you see that, oh my gosh, this is happening. Remember, Nisargadatta Maharaj, he had people come and they would have miracles happen. And Siddhar Mishra Maharaj says, no, 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 don't do this. This is not knowledge. Don't. Because the people were waiting in a queue to come and be blessed by Nisargadatta Maharaj. And Siddhar Mishra Maharaj, no, no, this is not reality. Don't. Because you may have this happen for a time and your spiritual ego gets built up. I can make things happen, or I have knowledge. Seemingly, I can understand things before they're happening, or it's almost like I can read people's minds, the quote, siddhas. But at one point, it won't be, and then you'll be all depressed. And for the next 100 years, you'll be chasing to try and get back this power. Forget about this. No power.
so if you,
Because remember, it's illusion. In a dream, maybe you have the power to lift a car and crumple it into a tin can. When you wake up, what is the use of this power?
I add, like, I feel like having peak states for me, it's been like a hindrance because it's like you come to this and you expect it to be like this magical and all this other stuff, and it's like it feels like those are all fabrications of the mind anyway and illusion. So it's like, what use is that? And you start clinging to it, and it's just like it's made me miserable over the years because I kept thinking, well, I got to have this, I got to do this, and it's a whole list of things, And then it's like it's as simple as just like for me, like at this point, I don't know about further, but it's just like just numb and just live the day and no expectations because all those
Correct.
expectations